Hey guys, welcome to my tutorial on 3ds Max. Real quickly, I'm just going to show you guys how to take just some simple pictures done in either by paper or in Photoshop. I'm going to show you how to crop them out and then load them into your 3ds Max scene so that you can create something similar to this. And then I'm going to show you how to import a model and aerodynamically test it. So we'll just kind of start from square one here. So I went into Photoshop and just drew a simple solar car, and I just did this, freehand based off of just some Google images I looked up, and I just cropped each one out. And then what I did is I looked up. The first step is to create 3 planes, one for each picture, and we're going to put those planes in our scene and project our images on them. So what we need to know is the resolution of each of our pictures. So I'm going to hit view, and then I'm going to hit so what I'm going to do is hit view and then content, and then when I hit content, it's going to give me a column that tells me the actual resolution of each picture. So if I open 3ds Max and create a new scene, I'm going to go ahead and jump into my left view. Now, by the way, jumping in and out of viewports is Alt-W. So I'm going to Alt-W into my left viewport. You can hit the G key to bring up your grid. I personally don't like to work with a grid, so I'm going to hit G to make that disappear. I'm going to go to Create. I'm going to go to Geometry. I'm going to click Plane, then left mouse drag, and it'll create a plane. Now, if I go back to my file, I can see that my left picture is 960 by 240. So what I'm going to do is make the length 240 and then 960. Okay. Now the reason why that didn't update my size is because I had accidentally double-clicked and finished the plane. So what I have to do is actually create a new one, drag. As soon as I let off, don't click again, immediately punch in your dimensions. So I did 960 by, what did I say? By 240. Okay, so by 240. And there we go. Now, to kind of load or project my image onto this plane, what I'm going to do is hit the M key. The M key is your material editor, so that's what it looks like. And if it looks like this when you open it up, that's the same thing. It's just a different layout. But what you want to do is hit modes and click compact material editor. So these are your blank materials. In essence, so they can be used for anything from just changing the color of your model to adding very complex kind of material properties. We're not going to worry about that. All we're going to use these for is just our blueprint pictures. So, and one more thing to note, if you open up your material editor and this doesn't say standard, if it says something like Arc and Design and you have like a crazy colorful background, what you need to do is click this box right here. This will pop up and you need to go down to standard and just double click that, and you'll get kind of a menu that looks like this. So all you have to do from here is take your JPEG or PNG or whatever file type you have for your image. You can drag it and drop it. Why is this not working? Drag it and drop it onto it's an empty material, and then drag that material onto your plane, and there it is. Now, when you do it, you may not see it at first because this may not be checked. So this, you just have to check this. It says show material in viewport. So just make sure that's clicked before you freak out and panic. So what you will do is you will repeat these steps you'll repeat these steps for the front, back, top, side, however many dimensions of the car you have. So all you do is, I did this in the left viewport, so repeat this step again for the top, and I'll just do that real quick for you. Draw on a plane, and then go into my file. See the top, so the resolution is 967 by 344. So, and usually, so in 3ds Max when you're doing this, the bigger number is going to be your width. So 967 and then 344. Yeah, okay, good. So I'm just going to Alt W out, kind of take a look at how this is set up. So I need this to be long ways. So this, to rotate something, you hit the E key, okay, and you're going to get this like little kind of tool that helps you rotate things. So you hover your mouse over an axis and it'll rotate an axis. So this is the Z axis, I believe, and then if I hold it over the green, that's going to be, I think, Y, and then red is X. So to get a perfect 90-degree turn, there's two ways to do it. I can type 90 in for the Z axis, or Control Z, I can hit the S key. If I hit S key, that'll do snaps. And if I snap, or no, I'm sorry, not S key. If I have to actually click it. So if you go up here and click this, it's angle snap toggle. Alright, if I click that, it will, no matter what object it is, it will start, the angle will change in increments of 5. So I'll just move it 90 degrees. So that is our top plane. And what I'm going to do is same thing, hit M, open up the material editor. I'm going to pick a new blank slot. I'm going to pull up my file, okay, of the top of the car. I'm going to drag that onto the empty slot, and then I'm going to drag the new material onto the top plane, okay? And I'm just going to move this around so that it is lined up with the side view. So I'm going to repeat this step again for the front view. However, I'm going to pause the video and do that on my own so that I don't take up too much time. So I set up my front plane, and I've just kind of made sure that everything is all lined up. So I guess the first step would be to Alt W, go into my left viewport. However, I actually want to rotate this around and hit right. Now, some quick UI things or control things that I didn't mention earlier is that to zoom in and out, use scroll wheel. If you hold the middle mouse button down and move your mouse, you will pan. And if you hold Alt and then hold middle mouse wheel, you will actually rotate around your object. Or you can click this cube and hold it down and rotate that way as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually take a box, and I go to Create tab, and then Geometry, and I'm in Standard Primitives, Box. I'm just going to drag a box over the length of the car. Now, actually I'm going to delete that because I want to show you guys something here. If I... That's not what I want to do. No, that's again. So when creating geometry, what you'll do, it's the same as the plane. You'll left mouse click and drag, and as soon as you let off the mouse, and what you'll do is it'll move to the next axis. So I let off the mouse, and now when I move, it's gonna do the width of our cube, and then I click one more time to finalize the dimensions. And so you can see that here. I have my cube. So what I want to do is use this cube to model my car. However, I want to be able to see my car through the cube. So I can hit Alt X to make it transparent. If Alt X doesn't work for you, if it doesn't make it transparent, you can actually hit M and take a blank material, drag it onto your cube, and then adjust the opacity right here. So you can adjust the opacity and make it more opaque. so that you can see through it better. So that's one way to do it, or just hit Alt X. So I hit Alt X. Now I'm immediately going to right click. I'm going to go to, next to create, there's a modify panel. I'm going to right click box. I'm going to click editable poly. Basically any primitive shape that you create, you have to then go here and turn it into an editable poly before you can actually start really manipulating it into what you want. So I'm going to click the vertexes tab right here. When I hit that, it's going to give me vertices, and I'm just going to adjust them a little bit to where they're more kind of the shape of the car. Real simple. I'm going to bring this guy down, bring this guy over a bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to deselect by clicking. I can click in the scene, or I can click vertex to deselect it. What I'm then going to do is click edit, click swift loop. I'm going to add a couple swift loops just throughout. I'm going to add one here. I'm going to add one here. I'm going to add one here and here. And I'm going to see how I can adjust this. So I'm going to select this vertex. I'm going to hold my mouse over this axis, and it'll move only in this axis. If I hold my mouse over this axis, it will only move this way. If I hold my mouse on this square right here, it will move in both the X and Y. So I want to just bring it straight up. Same thing to this vertex right here, bring it straight up. I'm just going to keep doing this until I form the same shape that I've drawn on the plane behind it. So I can keep adding a couple more edge loops here, you know, just to really get close to the shape. Keep in mind we are going to turbo smooth it later, so it will, you don't have to add too many edge loops. The only other thing I'm going to do is just to kind of get as close to the shape that I've made is maybe add 2 more edge loops, maybe one here and another one here. Drag this up a tiny bit and then pull this out. So that should be good for now. So here is my car shape. What I have here is my general car shape. Now, here is a quick trick for some of you guys developing a car body that may be a little more complicated than this. So a car is symmetrical, okay, and what we're going to use is a symmetry modifier. So in the next bit I'll show you how to do that. So how symmetry works is if I have an object, no matter what shape it is or what you're trying to create, what I can do is I'm just going to go ahead and add an edge loop, and then I'm going to select polygon. I'm going to select all the polygons on this side, okay? I'm going to hit the delete key. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my object again. I'm going to go into the modifier list. I'm going to scroll down to symmetry, or I can hit the S key. They're in ABC order, so it'll take me to the S section. I'm going to find symmetry. I'm going to, so when I add the symmetry modifier, it'll be on top of editable poly. This list is a hierarchy, so every time you add a modifier, it will increase the hierarchy. So say if I add something random like projection, it'll be on top of it, and it's a trickle down effect. So the highest modifier has the highest hierarchy, and then it goes down. So I'm just going to delete this. So here's my symmetry modifier. Here are the axes that it can mirror on. As you can see here, it's mirroring in the x-axis. We want to do it in the z-axis, as you can see by the plane there. I'm going to click this little plus sign right here and click mirror, and that's going to allow me to actually adjust where it is mirroring. So I like it right about there. Now, to actually keep editing my shape, I need to go back into editable poly. However, you'll notice that my mirrored goes away. If I want to see the mirrored side of my geometry, while I'm working on it, all I have to do is click this button right here, which says Show End Result. I'm going to click Show End Result as I work. And now if I take something over here, it will update in real time the symmetry. So I'm going to Control Z. Going to rotate around the side here. And to be honest, this is kind of it for the car's overall shape. I guess the next step would be to add kind of the wheel fairings. So what I'm going to do is going to go back in the left side. I have a pretty good idea about how I want to do this. So what I'm going to do is add another Swift loop right about here. And I'm going to click Polygon. Now Polygon allows me to actually select surface polygons and modify them the way I want. Now I can move them around. I can also hit extrude and extrude them out. I can also hit inset, which makes them smaller, inset inside of a polygon, and then extrude that out. I can also drill it back in, depending on how I want to do it. And if I select OK, I can also scale this down, move it. There's really, I mean, you can do whatever you want. So I've added the edge loop there, which gives me more polygons to work with. What I want to do is select this polygon and I think these two polygons. Now to select multiple polygons, you click 1, hold Control down, and you can keep clicking more. If I click the wrong one, but I don't want to mess up on my selection, I can hold Alt down and click it and it'll go away. So what I believe I want to do is hit extrude. I want to extrude these down to the same depth as my wheel fairings on the drawing. And then next I will make my wheel fairings and then probably make the cockpit in my next bit. Y'all have to forgive me, my video editor only allows me to do 5-minute clips at a time, so I have to keep like pausing and starting over. So anyway, we were working on the wheel fairings here. So first thing I'm going to do is highlight just by clicking the left mouse button and dragging. I'm going to get a selection marquee that is a rectangle. If I hit Q, that changes, if you see where my mouse is, that changes the shape of the marquee or the selected region. I want a rectangle. So I drag these vertices. I'm going to hit R and then hover my cursor over the X-axis. I'm going to zoom, or I'm going to scroll in, scale those in. Another kind of neat thing is if I scale on the Y, they will actually flatten out in the Y plane, which is something neat. If you have all these vertices and you want them to be aligned in a plane, this is a quick way to do that. So same thing with the front wheel fairings. I'm going to scale them down in the X and then flatten them out in the Y. Move this forward a tiny bit. Yeah, that'll do. So I'm also probably going to want to make these thinner to lower that frontal area. Maybe move this out a bit. Same thing with the rear one. I'm just going to select, scale it in. Also, you can hit Z. That'll zoom in on whatever you got selected. So if you're way out here screwing around, hit the Z key. You'll fly back in on what you want to see. I don't think these are level with each other. No, they're not. Drop it down a bit. Alright, so we got this boxy looking car. Now, first thing, so the whole point of this is we're going to aerodynamically test our models, but I can already tell you off the bat that these flat surfaces right here are going to cause a lot of wind resistance. So what I did is I put in a Swift loop. I'll get out of X-ray so you can see. I put a Swift loop right here, and I'm just going to click this one line. So what I did is I went here, edge, click the one edge. I'm going to scroll it to the side so you can see. selected that edge. In the y-axis, I'm going to drag it out a little bit, okay? I might even actually take this and drag it back. You know what? Maybe there's a better way to do this, actually. I don't want that either. Okay, forget that. So, I'm going to also drag this back in the y-axis and maybe drag this one back as well. I kind of want to just give that a pointed edge. It'll help it cut through the air a little better. I'm going to drag this side back as well. The only reason why I'm using this little thing over here to rotate around my car is because for some reason when I video capture, I can't use the Alt key. But if you Alt middle mouse button, it makes it a lot easier to rotate around your model. Okay, so just as a little preview as to what the Turbo Smooth will look like. By the way, I kind of done using these. If for whatever reason these are in your way, if you just want to look at your model, you can actually click it, right click, hit isolate selection, and it'll isolate whatever you have selected, and then you can just right click again and go to end isolation. Quick little trick if your scene gets cluttered up. So, damn it, I'm already at 4 minutes, so I'm going to have to pause this video and create a new clip. Alright, welcome back, and congratulations if you're actually still here listening to me. So, where was I? I don't know, what am I doing? So, yeah, I just kind of want to see where I'm at if I was to go ahead and turbo smooth this. So I just opened my modifier tab, hit T, found turbo smooth. Alright, so if I add a turbo smooth here, yeah, I'm going to get something like this. So, by the way, with turbo smooth, if you use iterations, the more iterations you increase, the more polygons multiplied. On those shitty app state PCs they have down there, if you keep multiplying this out, you'll crash your computer. So hover around 2 or 3. Yeah, look at that. I'm already freezing up. Yeah, don't do that. Hover around 2 or 3. That should be fine. I'm gonna go ahead and do 3. Also, you can check this isoline display. It'll get rid of all those polys. It'll just kind of give you the bare basics of what you need to know. So there's our car. What I'm going to do later is add some edge loops to straighten out an edge. The reason why, well, let me give you some intuition here. So if I go back to editable poly, okay, now I have my show end result on. So if I click that, it's going to show my end result, which is everything in my stack, my modifier stack. Now if I want to turn something off but leave the other thing on, these light bulbs actually allow you to do that. So that turns my symmetry off, that turns my turbo smooth off, but I like them both on for now. So if I get a swift loop out, okay, and let me just turn off turbo smooth. I'm gonna put a swift loop right on let's switch it up. Right on the edge right there, because I want a nice sharp edge between my wheel fairing and the back of my car. I'm going to put that there. See it come in. I'm going to right click to turn off swift loop, and then I'm going to turn on my turbo smooth, and it should make a sharper crease there. And if I leave turbo smooth on, see what happens if I do it to the front wheel fairing, which, yeah, so you see that difference it makes. So I'm just going to delete, Control Z. I want a nice sharp edge on the side, I think. I'm going to add, I'm going to turn turbo smooth off so I can kind of see what I'm doing. I want a sharp edge here. And I would like it to be, keep it sharp edges on the side here, or on the bottom of the wheel fairings. I think that's kind of important. So let's just see kind of how that looks. Okay, I mean, that's pretty good. I can go with that. That's fine. So, yeah, there's the shape of our car. So I think that's done. The next step is going to be to build this kind of canopy area. So there's two methods for this. One method is to take a primitive shape, create geometry standard primitives, take a primitive shape and just manipulate it into the cockpit shape. I personally think there's a better way to go about that, which is using splines. So splines are a little bit more of an advanced method for kind of modeling complex surfaces, but I'm going to keep it real simple so you guys can follow along here. God, I'm already at 5 minutes again. Alright, so yeah, what you'll do is you'll click this tab. No, you will not click this tab. You will click shapes, you will click line, and in the next part I'll show you how to make the canopy out of splines. Alright, so first things first, I'm gonna click line here, and that's gonna start my spline. I'm gonna click, and I'm gonna keep clicking and just tracing this along. Now you can actually click, and here I'll show you guys in a second. If I create a new line and hold the mouse down, I can drag it, and it'll create that nice curve. That's nice, but that'll actually mess us up if we try to use the surface modifier, which is what we're going to do to create an actual surface out of our spline. So we actually have to create it just vertice by vertice, and I'll show you why in just a second. So we have this top kind of line that is outlining our profile, and now on our top view of the car, so by the way, I created this in 3D space. You know, it may not do it right where you want it. I'm going to have to drag it over to be in the center of the car. Now I have this this line, okay? And here now we're in the top viewport. It's in the center. Now I'm going to create a new line, and it's going to go something like this. This is going to be the width of our windshield, and it's going to go a little something like this, I think is what I'm looking for. Now, of course, it's so I've finished creating it, however, it disappeared. So it may do something weird, like be created lower than you want it to. So I'm just going to drag it up. Go back in this view, drag our car up to be back where it should be. So back in top view, there's our purple kind of sideline. Now it's not going to be contoured to the shape of the car, which is kind of what we want. So I'm going to hit the E key, rotate that just a tad, okay? And I'm actually just gonna, okay, so actually I'm gonna do something a little different. I'm gonna select this spline, I'm gonna control select this spline, and I'm gonna right click and do isolate selection, okay? The reason I'm doing this is so I can focus on these two by themselves. I'm gonna drag this down, I'm gonna click modify, I'm gonna go down here and select vertex. Well, actually, what I need to do is with this selected, I'm going to scroll down to attach. I'm going to click the unselected line, and now they're going to be as one. They're one kind of one unit. Now I'm going to take this and drag it kind of to where that one is. I need these vertices to touch. I'm going to just select over them, scroll down, click fuse. That'll guarantee that they're sharing kind of the same space. Now I'm also going to select this one, and I'm going to drag it up toward this one. I'm just going to make sure that's the move I actually wanted to make. Let me check it out, take a look. Alright, that's fine. So I'm just going to drag this down a little bit. And this will all make sense here in a second when you see what I do with this. Now I'm just going to isolate again. No. Okay, perfect. Now, to create an actual surface, a hard surface out of these lines, what we have to do is by hand create polygons, and then by adding a surface modifier, it'll convert that into a surface. So, let's see, where is that going to be? Okay, so down here, you're going to scroll down to where it says refine. You're going to click connect. You're going to check that box. You're going to click refine, okay? What we're going to do is you're going to click a vertex. Then you're going to click another part in your shape or spline shape. click it again, then right click. You'll see a line pop up. Okay? What we're trying to do is make a grid of 4-sided polygons, and this will make a little more sense the more we go on. So I'm just going to keep going, click refine again, do another one, 4-sided polygons. I got 30 seconds left in this clip, so we'll keep going in the next clip. Alright, in the last bit, we were just working on our canopy here, and I made a couple little minor changes to this little bottom piece right here. So anyway, back to modify. I'm going to select this, and I'm actually going to hit attach and attach this other line. So I clicked this little attach tab, and then I clicked the unselected line, and now they're there as one. So I'm going to unselect attach. This is now one kind of object, when before it was two. So this is important. I actually want to bring this vertice up to to here. Actually, I'm going to end isolation. Yeah, okay, I'm going to go back to isolation to see kind of where they're at with each other. I'm going to bring this up to here, and I want these two vertices to share the same space. So I'm going to select them both, and I'm going to scroll down on my right sidebar and click fuse. Now they actually share the same space. I kind of want these to all be in line, so I'm going to drag these up. Okay, and this will all make sense here in a second, so just bear with me, okay? I'm going to hit fuse to make them go together. Now I'm going to use this modifier called surface. Let's see if I can do this in under 5 minutes. So surface, there it is. Okay, so what surface does is if you create a polygon by hand, it'll automatically fill it in and create an actual surface. So I'm going to go back to my line. I'm going to click show end result, and then I'm going to scroll to this vertex, and I'm going to go down here to where it says refine. I'm going to click connect, then click refine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make 4-sided polys by hand. So I'm going to click this vertice, and then right click when I'm done. Okay, here we are, 4-sided polygon. Now the reason why the surface isn't showing up is because these two vertices down here are not sharing the same space. See, you can see there's two of them. I'm going to select them both, scroll down, and click fuse. Look at that, now we have a surface. So I'm going to connect these two vertices, left click, then right click. Turn on refine. I'm going to left click, right click. Alright, again, I'm going to click here. You can actually click and add a vertice wherever you want to. So I'm going to click there, new vertice, right click, bam. So yeah, spline modeling can be redundant, but if you have really complicated shapes, it can be easier than modeling it all by hand. So I'm going to go ahead and end isolation, and you can see that we have like a sort of getting there with the line. I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to drag it down a little bit. I'm also going to drag this down just a tad. There we go, so it fits in there. Now, I'm going to deselect the vertice. I'm going to slide this over a bit. Now, something we need to do with surface. Click surface. Make sure this patch topology says 0. You can just right click there and it'll go to 0. That's important for when we turbo smooth it later. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to right click and do collapse all, okay? That's going to turn into an editable patch. You want to right click again and turn it into an editable poly. I'm going to click line. I'm going to double click this line that goes around the outside rim, and I'm also going to click control and click this line as well. Then I'm going to hold shift down and drag this out. When you hold shift down, it allows you to kind of continue on any old line that you have. So if I select a line, here, hold shift and drag, I can keep dragging it out. So we'll keep working on this in the next video. Alright, so I'm kind of running out of time here, so I'm just going to zip through this as fast as I can. We're going to use another symmetry modifier for the window, so I'm going to click it. I'm going to go into symmetry, down in the S's. Alright, now obviously it looks a little weird. I'm going to click this little plus next to symmetry, click mirror. I'm going to adjust the mirror, which is here. Yeah, okay, cool. So there it is. Now I can drag it right about there, and it's going to be mirrored. But it's not centered in the car where I want, so I'm going to hit W key for my move tools. I'll look around. How does it look in different views? Okay. So yeah, it looks really rough and ugly. So we're going to do a turbo smooth. Should smoothen it out, make it look a little nicer. I'm going to up the iteration to 2. There we go. So now if I look in here, this view, I have a nice smooth canopy shape. And it's a little funky. So I think what I'm actually going to do also is add a line, a swift loop here. Okay. And I'm going to click edge. I'm going to click alt and deselect that part right there. I'm going to go to the back. Back's okay. I'm just going to drag this out a tiny bit. See if that gives it more of like a better. Actually, okay. Control Z. I'm going to hold control down and click vertex. If I hold control and hit vertex, it'll select all the vertexes that are part of this edge. I'm going to deselect this vertex and drag that out a little bit, and then back to turbo smooth. Alright, so it gives it more of like a flaring out shape. Now I need to fix this back piece, so I'm going to go back to editable poly. I'm going to click this line right there, I'll zoom in on it, and I'm going to control click this. I'm going to hold shift, drag this out. I'm going to hold control and click vertex. So like I said earlier, it's gonna have the vertex that are involved with the line. I'm gonna hit the R key and then scale in on the x-axis like we did earlier for the wheel fairings. I'm gonna scale in, and those are gonna align on the x-plane. I'm gonna hit W again, drag them out. So see how there's two, if you look right here, there's 2 vertexes that occupy the same place. I'm going to overlap them, and I'm actually going to weld them together so they become one vertice. So I select both of them by dragging over, and you can see right here it says 2 vertices selected. Scroll down and click, where is it at? It's going to be a button that says weld right there. Click that, bam. Now we only have 1 vertice, or we should have 1 vertice. If it doesn't weld, it's because your weld's not strong enough. You need to go here, click settings, increase weld strength. I hit check mark. Yeah, there's only 1 now. Alright. So anyway, turbo smooth. Here's our window or canopy, whatever you want to call it. Cockpit shape. So yeah, car, cockpit. I think this thing is ready to be wind tunnel tested. So in our next video, I'm going to show you how to import this into Flow Design. Alright, so for those of you that have stuck with me this long, we're going to do some cool wind tunnel stuff, which is kind of what this is all about. So clicking this little tab right here, we're going to import your model. I saved mine as new car in my desktop, so I'm just going to type in new car. OBJ right there. I'm going to open that bad boy up, and there's my mesh. There's my car that I created right before your eyes. Right there. As you can see, it's sideways, which is not what we wanted. So what I'm actually, so you can change the orientation of your model here. If I click orientation, you can dip it around, do all sorts of crazy stuff, but I actually want it to be correct from the get-go. That way when I make changes in 3ds Max to my car, it'll update and be in the right axis. So I think I need to rotate it 90 degrees to the right, it looks like. So I'm going to actually rotate my car 90 degrees. I'm going to turn on angle snap toggle, 90 degrees to the right. Now here's what kind of sucks. I have to export it again, but I just do it under the same name. So new car, obj, overwrite that file. Yes, I want to replace it. Same thing, just hit export. It's going to be do that. Go back to Flow Design, and all you got to do is, underneath import will be your current kind of project. Click it again, and there it is. It's updated. So that little trick I showed you, as you're kind of working on your car, you can go into 3ds Max at any time, change something on your car, export it, just overwrite your file, then you go back into Flow Design, click it, and it will update. So that's just kind of a way to iterate real fast. Now, when you have your car finalized and say there's a small tweak you want to make, you maybe don't want to go in and adjust like vertices by hand, because there's probably going to be a lot of them when you're near the end of your car design. So you can actually go into the modifier stack and do something called a FFD 2x2 or 3x3 or 4x4. So I'll do the 3x3, and that number represents the amount of lattice points or subdivided lattice points. So this allows you to, if I just click the plus and I click control points, I can click control points here. I'm going to hit W and I'm going to modify them, and it'll kind of warp the object as a whole. So if I just kind of wanted the front of the car to be a little thinner, I could just I could select these 3 control points and just kind of make it a little thinner. Same thing here. If I kind of wanted to make this a little thinner, I just drag this down, and then I'm just going to deselect everything and kind of drag my canopy down as well. And I'm going to export it again. I'll select everything, of course. Export again. Export selected. I called it a new car. So new car obj. Obj stands for object file. I'm going to save it. Yes, I want to replace. Yes, export again. I know it's tedious, but it's the only way. So then import it again, and look, it's like a lot thinner. But anyway, so I'll just kind of run you through this program. It's really simple, and honestly, you can figure it out pretty quickly on your own. So there's simulation. You can change the resolution. All resolution is the quality of the calculations. So 100 is good. Anything more than that's going to slow your computer down. And in the next video, I'll quickly run you through this program. Gang, so we're getting near the end of our journey here. So hopefully in 5 minutes I can kind of give you the 101 of flow design. So anyway, simulation, I clicked open up simulation settings, faster, slower, or higher. Yeah, you want to keep the simulation resolution to around 100. Unless you have a really dang computer, then you can crank it up. The model dimensions, you can change the dimensions of your model. So I have it right now, I think it's in millimeters, so I think I want to put it in inches. Display English. Now, if you can see, like right here, in the corner, I have my dimensions. There's really no way to get perfect dimensions using 3ds Max, so just kind of, I mean, this does have a slight impact on your calculations, but not a lot. Put in inches or feet or whatever to try to make it a length and width that makes sense. And the way you'll do that is just by adjusting your car on the grid, its size, just a little bit, and then updating it, and you'll see here in Flow Design, like how many, your length and your width in inches. If it's 500 feet long, that doesn't really make a lot of sense. So yeah, so working with our car here. So click this wind tunnel button. You'll get options to kind of adjust your wind tunnel. Best practice is about a car length in front and about 2 or 3 car lengths in the rear. You also want just a little bit of air to go underneath the car, just to see your flow going underneath it. And then, so yeah, there's that. So right now it's in 2D mode. Okay, it's 2D simulation mode, and we're looking at the velocity. So these lines represent velocity of air. What you can see is laminar flow going over the top, and you can see turbulent flow coming off the rear. 2D means that it's cutting through my model on a plane, and that plane is represented here. You can actually adjust it. You can move it to the side. So it was going down the middle, or the technical term would be the chord of the vehicle, which is right down the center. See here, right? So this is not cutting. This is cutting kind of toward the side. So it's not hitting the canopy at all. So there's much less turbulent flow coming off the rear than there was a second ago when it had to go all the way over the whole canopy. And if you want to see the actual drag coefficient, you're going to click this little thing that says drag plot, and you'll get drag coefficients, and you'll need it time to elapse so it can get a better average. Yeah, let's look at it. So yeah, drag coefficient is about 0.9. Average drag coefficient is about 0.9 at this specific point. Now this is the 2D, okay? If you click 3D, it begins to calculate all across the car. There you go. Getting a little crazy, so yeah. Give it a few seconds to recalculate your graph. You're going to see some crazy numbers for a second, but as this number increases, you'll see that the drag coefficient over the whole car isn't so bad. And drag force, I mean, it could be better. It could be better, but it's really not terrible. Now, that's just velocity, right? You see this legend over here that tells you kind of the colors represents speeds of velocity. This whiteness is actually kind of a bug. It shouldn't be white like that. Now, there's also, so I'm going to go back to 2D so you can see this. Come on. Alright, so there's velocity. Click velocity, you have pressure. These pressure points, it's high pressure, blue is low pressure. Anytime there's a gradient of high pressure to low pressure, there's either lift or down force. So here you're going to get down force on the car, which is good. You don't want this thing flying off. Alright, I got like one more minute here. So there's pressure. I'm going to go back to velocity. So there's flow lines, is what you've been seeing, and there's also planes right there, which is kind of neat, right? So anyway, that's that. Obviously, the controls in this are very similar to 3ds Max. The same people that make it. You rotate with these, or you can right-click or middle mouse or whatever and rotate around it. If you guys have any more questions, like I know this is a lot to cover in a short amount of time. This program's like can get pretty complicated. Modeling is not something you can just pick up overnight. So hit me up if you got any questions about it. I mean, I'm sure I can help you guys out with any problems you have. So anyway, thanks for watching. See you guys later.